Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get to the heart of things.
That's the plan.
So today, let's talk about hunting leases. For a lot of landowners, the whole idea of hunters on their private property,
Oh, yeah.
it brings up worries.
Oh, absolutely. Big worries, liability, damage, just hassle. It's understandable why people might hesitate.
Exactly. It's a common fear. But we're going to look at how, maybe surprisingly, these setups can actually be really beneficial, more than just avoiding problems.
Yeah, there are definitely some misconceptions floating around. People often think hunting itself is just inherently risky financially or, physically.
Right.
But our deep dive today, using insights from an article by Josh Honeycutt on Base Camp Leasing, it really paints a different picture.
What's the article called again?
It's titled, "What Should I Expect from Hunters Leasing My Property?"
Oh,
And it suggests landowners can and really should feel pretty safe about these arrangements.
okay.
Legal trouble is actually quite rare, especially when things are set up correctly.
So our mission today is basically to unpack what you, the landowner, can realistically expect. We want to cut through those assumptions and show the practical side, the surprising upsides.
Exactly. How it can be genuinely good for both sides, not just about letting someone onto your land.
All right, let's dig in. The first big point, maybe the most obvious one, is passive income.
Yeah, that's usually the main driver. More revenue.
But it's more than just rent money.
Right.
Right. The article emphasizes how helpful this can be.
Totally. It's not just pocket change. This extra income can seriously help cover the big stuff. Mortgage payments, farm costs, definitely property taxes, or even just groundskeeping, maybe some land improvements you've been wanting to do. For some families, it's what makes keeping the land possible.
And you mentioned passive. Let's talk about that. Passive, is it really? What's the actual effort involved for the landowner?
That's a fair question. And the answer is generally very minimal effort on your part. Mostly, you're looking at reading and signing the lease agreement, maybe some initial communication with the hunters, the lessees, about, say, access points or specific rules you have. But beyond that, the income stream is pretty hands-off, especially if you work through a service that handles, the screening and the logistics.
Gotcha. So few pitfalls if you use a structured approach.
Literally, yeah. Much smoother.
Okay, so beyond the money, which is obviously a big draw, there's another benefit that seems, well, almost backward at first glance. Better security. More people, more security. How does that work?
It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? But yeah, the article makes a strong case for enhanced security and less trespassing.
How so?
Well, think about it from the hunter's perspective. They've leased this land because they want good hunting opportunities. Deer, other game, they don't like being disturbed constantly by uninvited guests.
Right, human intrusion drives them away.
Exactly. So more trespassing means less game. The hunters have a real vested interest in keeping trespassers out to protect their own hunting.
Ah, okay, so they're motivated to police the area themselves, in a way.
Precisely. They become extra eyes and ears for you. They'll watch the property when they're there, obviously, but also indirectly. Many use trail cameras. Now, some are even cellular, sending photos right to their phone.
Wow, okay.
So they're often aware of what's happening, and they're expected to let the landowner know if they see anyone who shouldn't be there. It acts as a deterrent.
That's a really interesting, unexpected layer of protection. Okay, let's shift gears. ATVs and UTVs. This is probably another point where landowners might hesitate. Worries about damage, tearing up the land.
Understandable concern for sure, but the source suggests that unless you specifically forbid it in the lease, hunters generally need respectful use of these vehicles.
For what kinds of things?
Oh, practical stuff. Getting tree stands or blinds into position, checking those trail cameras we mentioned, and, importantly, retrieving downed game. Much easier with an ATV than dragging it out by hand.
Okay, so it's functional use, not joyriding across wet fields.
Right. And these ATVs, these UTVs, they're built for off-road. They're usually less likely to cause ruts or serious damage compared to, say, driving a pickup truck through the woods.
That makes sense.
And here's a potential bonus the article points out: trail management.
Oh.
Yeah, if your property maybe lacks good access trails and you allow it, good lessees might actually help clear or maintain paths.
Huh. So they might improve access for you.
Exactly, which not only helps them, but it gives you better access to your own land. Plus, good trails can make a property more attractive, maybe even add value if you ever decide to sell.
So you could end up with improved infrastructure, potentially. That's pretty neat. Does this helpfulness extend to other things, like general upkeep?
It often does, yeah. The article mentions hunters frequently helping with basic property maintenance.
Like what?
Well, say a tree falls and blocks a trail they use. They'll likely just cut it up and clear it themselves. Or maybe they want to manage a small area. As a food plot, they might offer to brush hog that field.
Ah, things that benefit them, but also tidy up the property.
Precisely. It becomes this sort of collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Tasks get done that benefit you, often at no extra cost or effort on your part. It fosters that partnership idea.
That idea of partnership really connects to the next point. Responsible wildlife management and conservation. This isn't just about harvesting animals, is it?
No, not at all for most serious hunters today. Many are incredibly knowledgeable about wildlife, especially deer, and the whole ecosystem.
They understand the land's carrying capacity, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they often have a good sense of how many deer the habitat can realistically support without degrading it. They understand that balance between, the animals and the plants.
And the article suggests leasing actually helps conservation. How does that work more broadly?
Well, it creates a direct incentive, right? When people are actively using the land for recreation, whether it's hunting or something else, they tend to care more about its health. So both the landowner and the lessee are motivated to protect the habitat, keep the ecosystem functioning well. This can lead to better biodiversity, healthier land overall. It's conservation in practice.
Driven by shared interest.
You got it. And not insignificantly, the article points out that well-managed properties, the ones that are good for wildlife, can actually command higher lease rates.
Ah, so doing good for the land can literally pay off better. A positive cycle.
Exactly. Good stewardship is rewarded.
And in a very practical outcome of that good wildlife management, something landowners with crops will appreciate, is less damage, right?
Absolutely. That's a huge one. When hunters help maintain deer populations at healthy levels, you see direct benefits.
Like
Less damage to agricultural crops, fewer vegetable gardens getting raided, and potentially even fewer deer vehicle collisions on nearby roads, which is often linked to overpopulation. It's a real economic plus for the landowner and the community.
Makes sense. Now, beyond what hunters do, the article also touches on how they are on the property. Respectful relationships.
Yeah, this is important. If you go through a reputable service, like Base Camp Leasing mentioned in the source, there's an expectation and often a requirement for hunters to be respectful.
Respectful how?
Following all of the state and local hunting laws, of course. But also adhering to any specific rules you set out in the lease agreement. It's about respecting your property, your boundaries, your peace of mind.
So you're not just getting random people, they're vetted and accountable.
Generally, yes. And these services also typically commit to stepping in quickly. If any issues or concerns pop up, you've got backup.
Okay, that's reassuring. Which brings us to probably the biggest hurdle for many landowners. Liability. The what if someone gets hurt question.
The elephant in the room for sure. That fear can stop landowners cold.
But the article argues that using a leasing service actually reduces liability concerns significantly.
It does. It makes a very strong case for it. Now, as we said, hunting isn't inherently super dangerous, and lawsuits are rare. But just giving someone informal permission, a handshake deal to hunt, that can leave you exposed if something unfortunate were to happen. There's no formal agreement, no clear insurance usually.
So the structure is the key to protection.
Exactly. Leasing through a service ensures all the legal boxes are ticked. You get a proper lease agreement, which includes a critical clause, a release of liability.
Okay.
And here's the really crucial part. Both you, the landowner, and the hunter are typically covered by a substantial liability insurance policy. The article mentions Base Camp Leasing provides a $5 million policy as part of the deal.
Wow, $5 million.
Yeah, that provides a massive layer of financial protection and, honestly, peace of mind. It takes that huge worry off the table for the most part.
So really, when you look at the whole picture presented here, the common fears seem largely addressable, even turned into benefits.
That's the core message, I think. Yeah. It transforms the dynamic from landowner letting someone use their land to something much more like a mutually beneficial partnership.
Passive income, better security, help with maintenance, conservation benefits, reduced crop damage, and crucially, significantly lowered liability.
It really challenges those initial assumptions.
It's a great example of how digging a bit deeper into something reveals unexpected advantages, a more nuanced reality.
Absolutely. It shows a system that, when done right, can really work well for everyone involved, including the land itself.
Which kind of leads to a final thought to leave our listeners with. If these kinds of structured shared interest arrangements work so well for hunting leases,
Mm.
how could similar partnerships, maybe built around other shared interests, lead to broader, more sustainable ways we manage and care for private land in the future? What other win-wins might be out there waiting to be cultivated between landowners and land users?
That's a fascinating question. What other forms of stewardship could emerge from that kind of collaboration? Definitely something to think about.
Something to think about until our next deep dive.